Ukrainian drones struck an oil refinery in Russia's Saratov Oblast overnight on October 16, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces has confirmed. The Saratov refinery is one of the oldest Russian oil refining enterprises, formerly known as the cracking plant, and is part of the Rosneft oil company, the SSO said in a post on social media. The volume of oil processing as of 2020 is 7.2 million tons, and in 2023 it is 4.8 million tons. Recall that the SSO struck this facility exactly a month ago, on September 16, 2025. The news comes as Kiev continues to escalate its campaign against Russian oil and gas infrastructure, a key source of Moscow's revenues helping to fuel its all-out invasion of Ukraine. Saratov Oblast Governor Roman Busargin announced that the Russian Defense Ministry had received information about a potential drone attack. Later that night, the Federal Air Transport Agency, also known as Rosaviatsia, reported the temporary closure of Saratov's airport. Local residents reported hearing numerous explosions, according to the Russian telegram channel Astra. The Saratov oil refinery has been targeted by drone attacks before, with the General Staff confirming a Ukrainian strike in the facility on September 20. The Saratov refinery produces over 20 types of petroleum products, including gasoline, diesel fuel, fuel oil, bitumen, and more. The facility, whose processing volume amounted to 4.8 million metric tons in 2023, helped supply the Russian military, according to Ukraine's General Staff. An electrical substation in Russia's Volgograd Oblast is in flames following a reported Ukrainian drone strike, Regional Governor Andrey Bocharov said. The Balashovskaya substation in the region's Novonikolayevka district caught fire after it was hit by debris from a falling drone, Bocharov claimed. Firefighters are operating at the scene and repair services are working to restore power to nearby settlements, he said. No casualties were reported. The fire broke out during a massive drone attack targeting Volgograd Oblast's energy infrastructure overnight, Bocharov said. The Balashovskaya substation is a 500 kV electrical substation owned by a subsidiary of Roseti, Russia's largest power transmission company. Russian media reported that flight restrictions were imposed at airports in the cities of Volgograd, Samara, Saratov and Tambov. Russian Ministry of Defense said that Russian air defense forces shot down 51 Ukrainian drones over the country. According to the report, 12 UAVs were neutralized in Saratov, 11 in Volgograd, 8 in Rostov, 6 in Crimea, 4 in Bryansk and Voronezh, 3 in Belgorod, and 1 each over the Kursk, Black Sea and Azov waters.
Ну, где-то в юбилейном, наверное.
Что вы смотрите?
Хорошо.
Нахуй. По станции въебал?
Да, зашли.
Есть нахуй. Все. Третий выключатель. Сука!
Охуеть.
Пиздец, это все, меня сот выдержит.
По-любому, я уже говорил.
Ёбаный рот.
Russian state television has aired outspoken criticism of the Kremlin's pivot to the east, which it portrays as a strategic success. On the talk show Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, State Duma Deputy Alexander Babakov stated that Russia's pro-Chinese economic stance has made it vulnerable and dependent. According to Babakov, Chinese investors receive preferential terms in Russia, while domestic businesses face loans with exorbitant interest rates. A foreign investor from China comes and invests in a sausage production plant. Can he do that? He can. What will he do? He'll exchange his yuan for rubles at 1 to 2% per annum and invest them in the plant. We'll be happy. For what? The plant is owned by the Chinese. The profits and dividends go to China, and we as a country are responsible for the return on their investment, the indignant deputy declared. Such schemes effectively deprive Russia of economic independence because income goes abroad and the benefits for the state are minimal. And then some Ivanov comes to the government and says, listen, why such a long road? Let me build a sausage factory. And they tell him, only at 21%, and you can say thank you. We can give it at 25%. And in the end, the factory won't exist. Babakov noted. He called this practice discriminatory against Russian entrepreneurs and questioned the very logic of the Kremlin's investment policy. Is this our investment policy? We expect this kind of investor? Why do we discriminate against our own investors? We don't need this, the deputy protested. Solovyov's unexpected statement on air surprised even the regulars of the propaganda show. Direct criticism of the pro-Chinese policy, which the Kremlin presents as a multi-vector partnership, is increasingly heard even from rabid Z patriots. Babakov essentially voiced what many in Russia have been saying quietly. Under the guise of strategic rapprochement with Beijing, the country is losing its economic sovereignty. Chinese companies are receiving Russian resources, infrastructure, and cheap loans, while Russian businesses are suffocating under the weight of interest rates and restrictions. A senior NATO official told reporters in Brussels that China remains a linchpin in sustaining Russia's defense industry, a relationship NATO says has become a decisive factor, enabling Moscow to wage the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian defense outlet Militani reported. According to the official, roughly 80% of the critical electronic components used in Russian drones and other modern systems are manufactured in China. He also said Beijing has supplied Russia with more than $20 billion in production tools, components and consumables since 2023. Shipments that, in NATO's assessment, have materially expanded Moscow's ability to produce tanks, armored vehicles, and missiles. About 80% of critical electronic components used in Russian drones and other modern equipment are made in China. Since 2023, Russia has purchased more than $20 billion in manufacturing tools, components, and consumables, the official said. NATO officials described Beijing's assistance as multifaceted. Direct export of components and equipment, production by Chinese subsidiaries of Western firms, and re-exports routed through third countries. Those channels, the alliance says, have allowed Russia to scale production despite sanctions and supply chain hurdles. The NATO official also accused China of aiding Moscow through non-kinetic means, including disinformation and cyber operations directed at alliance members.